Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Ugly Face Gaming here, and welcome to my One Punch Man Season 2, Episode 4, I believe, reviews. Now, before I start this video, I have two things to say. One, within this video, it is going to be fighters gameplay because if you guys don't know, they're actually doing a spring event in which they're bringing lobby avatars as well as Easter skin colors to the characters. So, because of that, I'm actually going to be grinding a lot in fighters to get more zennies, and I could actually obtain all of the costumes because I don't think I've ever obtained all of the costumes beforehand. So obviously this is me grinding for a zenny. The second thing is I know I'm late to this review. I was actually going to do this review on a Thursday, but I actually got really sick from my stomach because I ate some Doritos chips. For some reason they gave me a really bad stomach ache, so I wasn't really able to record this video for you guys. So sorry about that. Hopefully next time I'll think twice before opening a Doritos bag when One Punch Man actually comes out. But with that being said, let us push all of that to the side and get straight into this review. Now, within this episode, let me just say this right off the bat, the animation within this episode was not as good as episode 3. Episode 3, in my opinion, has to be one of the better episodes because I don't know, when it came to obviously episode 1, it wasn't that good. Episode 2 was better. Episode 3 was really good, and then they just died down within the animation for this episode. Now, what did this episode actually have to offer? Well, this had to do a lot with Garou and his backstory. Obviously, in the very beginning of the episode, we got to see why Garou likes monsters. As a kid, he would always watch superhero TV shows, but he would always be cheering on the main villains. He always saw the villains as heroes and the heroes as villains. So for him, it was like the exact opposite of what we actually see television for nowadays. So it's kind of crazy how even at a very young age, Garou really liked the monsters in comparison to heroes, and obviously he always wondered why the villains have to get their butts kicked and not the heroes. So obviously that gives you a kind of like a reason why he wanted to be a villain himself, because he wants to be the one to defeat heroes, not like the actual TV shows. And obviously we move on to the present time in which we actually get to see what a lot of our people are actually doing now. One of the main things we do get to see is Saitama within the actual martial arts tournament. The martial arts tournament has not started, and he is obviously impersonating Charanko, I believe that's his name, the apprentice to Silverfang. And even Charanko is getting a little worried because he's like, man, maybe Saitama is going to do something dumb to go enter the tournament as him. And then he even states, oh, that's a really dumb idea, I don't think anyone would ever do it. But then he's like, Saitama seems like a really dumb fighter and he will be doing it. And that's where Moomin Rider actually comes in, like, yo, you're friends with Saitama, you know who Saitama is? And Charanko's like, yeah, I know who Saitama is. And then Moomin Rider states like, oh, you have nothing to be worried about, Saitama would never do anything like that, and he's also a hero. Like, he wouldn't be impersonating someone else just to get money and so on and so forth. And even if he stated that if he did join the tournament, Saitama would be completely fine because Moomin Rider does see potential within Saitama, especially after the Deep Sea King event where Saitama basically one punched the whole Sea King right in front of not only Genos but obviously Moomin Rider as well, and obviously Saitama saved Moomin Rider. And then we also move on to Saitama being within the martial arts tournament, and he is greeted by someone named Sourface, I believe that who he is. He was actually an apprentice who used to be within Silverfang's dojo, and here we actually get more backstory of Garou. Now Garou, within all of this backstory, it basically stated that they had to shut down the dojo and kick everyone out because Garou was too violent. Obviously Garou, we see a flashback from Sourface of all of them training, and then obviously Garou stops. He's like, I'm done with this, and he just beats everyone up, including Sourface, which is why Sourface actually wants to be within the tournament, because it was stated that someone with a wolf mask actually won the tournament, but it wasn't the actual wolf mask guy. It was actually Garou impersonating him, which this kind of leads to Saitama because of the fact that Garou was impersonating another fighter. The tournament rules state that you can't be impersonating another fighter with masks, wigs, or anything like that. Or if you actually do get caught, you are going to be banned from the martial arts tournaments. As a whole, you might actually get fined money as well as arrested. And this was a really funny moment when Sourface mentions these criteria, because Saitama, obviously he entered the tournament impersonating Charanko, so if Saitama gets caught, he's going to have to probably get arrested, have to pay a fine. And obviously Saitama is one of like the brokest characters within One Punch Man. That's like a running gag of how poor he actually is. So Saitama was like really sweating at this point, like, yo, what if I actually do get caught? But apart from that, all of their conversations really didn't have that much to do with the overall story. It was a little slow at some points here and there, like the way he was actually telling the story. For me, It shouldn't have covered as much as it actually did in terms of the time, but obviously that was a big portion within the episode. Obviously getting the backstory of Garou and him actually winning the tournament as an impersonator and so on and so forth. But obviously the main thing to do with this episode was obviously Metal Bat. Now, with all of this hero stuff, obviously they're really scared that Garou is obviously attacking the higher ups of the association. So because of that, they're actually enlisting the help of Class S heroes to actually protect the higher up executives. The first person they actually call is King, but King, being King that we know right now, he was playing a video game and he was telling them on the phone that, oh, he can't really go to their help right now because he's defeating the main boss. They're probably thinking he's actually fighting a monster, but in reality, he's actually fighting the boss within his video game. So he was saying he can't necessarily help anyone at that point. And then we move on to the person who will be helping the two executives, which is a father and his son, which is Metal Bat. Now, within this scene, they're actually in a sushi restaurant in which you actually pick up the plate, you eat the plate, and you keep the plate on your actual table so they could tally up how much you've eaten. Obviously, that's how much you have to pay. These rich people, though, they're with pleasant manners, and they try to actually put the plates back, and the Metal Bat stated, yo, you can't be putting the plates back because obviously if you put the plates back, they're not going to know how much you ate and all of that. And it was really funny to see Metal Bat actually get mad at them, and he even stated, in his mind, he's like, yo, I'm going to actually kill these two people, whoever puts another plate back on the actual tray, which for me was really, really funny. And then within that, we also get Metal Bat talking to his little sister, saying that he's in a mission to help the executives not get damaged at all, which it's kind of weird how they have that love-hate relationship with obviously Metal Bat and his sister. Hopefully we do get to see who his sister is, because she has a big influence on him, obviously, within, I believe it was season 1, when they're actually within the Hero Association meeting. He was stating that he was missing his sister's piano recital because of that meeting. So they have like a little love relationship there, and I really want to see how much of this love Metal Bat has for his sister. Who exactly is his sister, and why does he have so much respect for this little girl? Because I believe it's younger sister, not older sister, but hopefully we get more of that later on in terms of One Punch Man. And obviously this is when we actually get the whole area shaking, and obviously Metal Bat's like, oh, that must be Garou coming to cause mayhem. But no, it was actually two insect I don't know what they were, but they're like insect centipedes that came to attack the higher ups. This led to Metal Bat, killing those two immediately. We don't really get him actually fighting them within the scene. We just see him actually just on top of them. They're already dead. The higher ups like, oh, you're super cool. You're a really cool hero, obviously, because it's Class S Metal Bat. What else do you expect? And they were actually taking pictures of Metal Bat, getting so much stuff to do with Metal Bat. And then obviously this is where we get two more centipedes actually come out, which are, well, I believe one was a centipede. The other one was just like another insect. But this insect actually had the ability to spray out spores like Pokemon do, in which you actually fall asleep. So obviously the two executives fell asleep, and obviously Metal Bat himself, he was getting drowsy near the end of the entire fight. But obviously at the end of the fight, he did get drowsy because of the actual poison that was being spewed out by the monster. This led the two monsters to completely destroy Metal Bat. They were hitting him left and right, like his whole body was getting torn, his clothes were getting torn, he started bleeding. But then this is when Metal Bat was really crazy, because I didn't actually see this coming. He got his own bat and he hit it against his head. He hit himself so hard that he even started like his own trail of blood on his forehead, and it looked really, really cool the way that he actually hit himself. Obviously he hit himself to kind of escape the trance that monster was doing, and once he actually exited this trance, he just obliterated these two centipedes. Like, there were no joke anymore to him. He just immediately killed him with his killer move, and that was really crazy how he actually defeated those two centipedes that quick, because Class S are no joke, but Metal Bat, for some reason, he's just extremely powerful. Like, I'm pretty sure he's human, like the way he actually moves and everything. I don't think he's artificial or anything. I believe he's like pure human. So obviously he defeated 4 monsters within this episode, and obviously that's when 2 heroes actually showed up saying that they came to help Metal Bat. One was Class C and one was Class B or A, I forgot. But then that's when obviously he's like, oh, I don't need your help because I already defeated him. If not, just take these 2 guys out of here already. And this leads to a little flashback with the association stating like, yo, he killed 4 of the insects, and that's when like the higher up of the association was like, yo, these 2 or 4 insects came out like in rapid succession, so that must mean that, something bigger is going to happen. And obviously, right when the executive actually said that, obviously it did happen. A very, very big centipede, like I'm pretty sure it could have destroyed the city. Like, it was a huge centipede came out, and obviously Metal Bat had to take that one on. While all of this was going on, we get to see the little kid again with his book of heroes and villains, and lo and behold, Garou actually shows up, because in the beginning of the episode, it actually showed Garou within an actual like barn or shed. He was crossing X's on heroes that he has already defeated. But that's the crazy thing that a lot of people have noticed within the community, is that he's not necessarily killing the heroes, he's just beating them up to a pulp, like that they can't move or anything. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if Garou intends to just beat heroes until none of them can actually stand up to him, or if his actual main mission is to actually kill these heroes. But regardless, we move on. And obviously Garou is with this kid. He's like, yo, can I borrow your book? But the kid's like, you're weird, like you always ask for me to let you borrow my book, even though I don't want you to borrow my book. And when all of this was happening, obviously we do get to hear the siren of the associations telling people to evacuate because of that huge centipede. When all of this was going on, the person who's actually talking on the microphone even states that Metal Bat is the one that's taking on this centipede, and Garou smiles because he knows that Metal Bat is a Class S hero. He's already taken down the Class S hero, that being Tank Top Master. So obviously Garou gets up, tells the kid to run away and evacuate, and he's actually going to go deal with not the centipede, but with Metal Bat. And obviously when Metal Bat is actually facing that centipede, he actually hits him, but when he hits the centipede kind of dodges in a way, and his bat actually hits the scale of it, and that's when he notices like, oh, it covers its face, so his face must be the actual weak spot. And from there on, he does manage to do his killer move on the actual insect, but the insect blows him away. And this is a part that was kind of funny, because we do get to see Garou walking, and he's like, oh, hopefully Metal Bat survives this centipede and actually take on Metal Bat. And right when he says that line, Metal Bat comes in crashing like onto the ground. And at this point, I thought Metal Bat was dead. Like the way they're actually showing his body, I was like, oh, Metal Bat is completely dead. And even Garou states like, oh, I can't defeat a hero who gets defeated by a monster of this caliber. Like, this monster to me is pretty weak. And when he's actually looking at the centipede, Metal Bat comes out of nowhere and just walks across Garou, telling him like, yo, get out of the way, I still need to defeat the centipede. And Garou's like, oh, you're not going to be fighting the centipede, you're going to be fighting me. And this leads to Metal Bat stating, you're crazy, like, do you not see the big centipede that's running amok in the city? I need to take care of that first. And right when he actually says that, Garou actually comes in with that one technique that I believe Silverfang uses. But when he actually does that technique, Metal Bat actually blocks the technique, and that's when he realizes, oh, you're Garou, the hero hunter. So that's exactly where the episode leaves off at. It's Metal Bat and Garou, preparing for a fight. I didn't think we were actually going to be getting that this soon. But obviously, I wish we could have gotten that fight within that episode, but we're going to have to wait till the next episode. So, Metal Bat versus Garou. Obviously, he did block one of Garou's attacks already, but at the same time, Metal Bat is pretty weak because he has faced 4 monsters, including the 5th one that he was fighting at that moment. So, he's pretty weak at this point. I wish Garou could just let Metal Bat get some time to rest and then face him at full power, because I do want to see how Metal Bat actually reacts at full power against someone like Garou. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode. In my opinion, it kind of dragged on when they're actually including Garou's backstory. I wish it wasn't that long, but at the same time, it's good that we have that backstory as to why Garou hates heroes as much as he does. So in all, I give this episode around a 7.5 to an 8. It could have been better. The art and animation was a little like sluggish at times, but it was decent enough for me to actually like the episode. But that was kind of my opinion. What did you guys have to say about this? Do you guys enjoy One Punch Man so far? Which episode do you guys like the most? I'm pretty sure many of you guys are going to be saying episode 3, because episode 3 was extremely amazing. But obviously episode 4 did have its good moments and its bad moments. Like I stated, I gave it a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. But overall, hopefully you guys do enjoy these reviews, because it takes some time, because I actually have to rewatch episodes and kind of get my critique hat on when it comes to these episodes. So if you guys do enjoy these type of reviews, make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe, because I will be doing more of this for One Punch Man as well as the returning Attack on Titan. If you guys love Attack on Titan and would like some reviews, I'll be your guy to actually do that. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.